So, it's the end of yet another week, and here on this channel, that means one thing and one thing only. Every weekend, I post an episode of this series we do called Your Take Not Mine, where I turn to you, the viewers, to give me your hottest NBA takes of the week based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in a video. This week continued on the trend of a pretty chaotic start to the new season, as we saw plenty of breakout performances, head-scratching decisions made, and interesting storylines develop, so we definitely have plenty to discuss. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now, so if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Before we start though, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Groza, and he says that Ben Simmons is going to be out of the league completely when his current contract expires. Well, the much anticipated return of Ben Simmons to the basketball court has officially gotten underway this season, after an absence that lasted over 400 days, and to put it lightly, it has not been going very well for him. Ben Simmons has been a unique player from the second that he entered the NBA, in that he showed that he could impact the game at a high level with his playmaking, transition play, and defense for years in Philadelphia, and has an All-NBA team nomination along with 3 All-Star appearances on his resume too, but at the same time, he has always had some glaring flaws that caused him to be pretty controversial as a player when it comes to fans and analysts discussing his game. The fact of the matter is that year in and year out, his impact on games would diminish in postseason play, the further along the Sixers would go, because when teams really get a chance to game plan for a series, Ben's inability to pose as a scoring threat at all makes it easy for the opposition to take advantage of that. Ben's fresh start in Brooklyn was supposed to set him free and put him in a better situation for himself to thrive in without the pressure that was on him in Philadelphia, but so far, he looks worse than he has ever looked on the court. He may have had his weaknesses as a scorer before, but he was still averaging between 15 to 16 points a night in Philadelphia, but now through 5 games, he has yet to score in double figures in a single game he's played yet, when maxing out in the games that he's played at 7 points. The Nets have also been much better when Ben is on the bench according to net rating, his defense hasn't been on the same level that we've become used to seeing from him, and with the Nets currently sitting with a record of 1-4, things couldn't possibly be going worse. Now, with all of this being said, we do need to address that Ben's back is still clearly not fully healthy, but simultaneously those back issues may be there for the rest of his career, so we can't really write them off. When Ben's current contract expires, I don't see any way that he's fully out of the league like this take says, because again, he does still do good things for the team. He just so clearly is not going to be a max caliber player anymore, and will likely need to embrace a lesser role in the rotation because his all-star days very well may be behind him. The next take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Leo, and he says that the Spurs just set themselves back a ton by waiving young guard Joshua Primo. So, yesterday, seemingly out of nowhere, Shams Charania and Adrian Wojnarowski broke the news that the San Antonio Spurs were releasing Joshua Primo, which was incredibly bizarre, and even more confusion was added into the situation when there was no real reason provided for why. Primo is still just 19 years old. He was a lottery pick in the 2021 NBA draft, and I can't remember a single other time that a player this young was fully given up on this early in their careers. Like, literally even the biggest draft busts that you can possibly think of more often than not make it through their full rookie contracts, which last either 3 or 4 years, so this comes off as pretty extreme. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Primo was playing great basketball so far in his career for this to be detrimental to the team's ability to compete, because the fact of the matter is that he has shot the ball pretty poorly for a guy who came in viewed as a scorer by nature, making just 37% of his shots from the field and 30% of his threes. However, as I said in the beginning, the Spurs did invest a lottery pick to select him just 1 year ago, and he was the youngest player in that draft, so we've come to expect these inexperienced players to be developed with patience early on. Completely giving up on him 5 games into the new season is absolutely a move that will make people shake their heads, and while I'm by no means saying that I have any insider information about this subject, I can't help but feel as though there is more to this story that just hasn't come out yet. This would really only make sense if Primo was breaking team rules to a flagrant degree, if he committed a serious crime, or anything else along those lines, but because nothing of that nature has been reported about this situation, we're just left confused. The Spurs are a rebuilding team, and they basically just wasted a valuable lottery pick on a player who barely lasted a year with them, so no matter what, this is a setback that they're going to have to overcome. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Bazooka, and he says that LeBron's decision to remain in Los Angeles and sign a contract extension with them for the next few years is actually hurting the team. His reasoning includes how the Lakers have dried up all of their assets in attempts to make win-now moves, they have no draft capital for their future, their depth chart is an issue now and a mess, and potential free agents will be much less interested in signing with a team as dysfunctional as the Lakers have become. When you read a take like this, it's not something that you would have ever thought could be the case after the team won the championship back in 2020, but ever since then, things have just tumbled further and further downhill until the rock bottom that they have now reached to start this season, as they are winless still. LeBron's final years were supposed to be him competing for more championships, and that has been the goal, but with that level of expectations comes some sacrifice. The Lakers sacrificed their future to bring in Anthony Davis to the team because they knew winning a ring was more important, and they did succeed in that goal, to be fair. However, since then, most of the moves that they have made have backfired on them. LeBron is only getting older, Davis is no longer the dominant two-way talent that he used to be, and their means of improving the roster is diminishing. LeBron was originally going to be a free agent after this season, and I don't think anybody was expecting him to sign an extension with the Lakers so soon, but he did. He signed on for 2 more years, with the last year of it being a player option, but regardless, we're probably going to see the same old story next offseason as we've seen each of the last 2 offseasons. The Lakers are going to completely overhaul their roster again around LeBron and Anthony Davis, trying to find the right combination, but unless they pull off the perfect offseason, then this could get even uglier. LeBron won't be playing forever, and when his time as a Laker is over, the team is going to have a long, arduous journey ahead of themselves to get back into the mix, because they gave up most of their draft picks in trades for the foreseeable future. I think it's going too far to blame LeBron to this degree though, because this method did bring the team a ring, but at this point those sacrifices made are starting to come into effect. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the takes we discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.